There we go. We are live. So I am talking now today with Jason Fonger, who is an athlete, creator, and educator from Toronto, Canada. He's a multiple-time triathlon champion and has over 200,000 followers on social media. Multiple-time triathlon champion. I want to put some emphasis on that. And he works with high schools to empower young people with an understanding of plant-based eating and the future of food. Welcome, Jason. Thank you for being with me today.
Thanks so much, Adam. It's great to be here with you.
So I want to jump into this as fast as possible. I want to hear your story and have people be inspired by you. So tell me about the whole triathlon journey. That's your life right now, right?
Yeah, that's a big part of it. And I think I just want to check because I'm hearing a bit of an echo. I think if you just there you go. Now if you we've lost Adam on Clubhouse.
You have to invite me again.
But Adam will be back with us shortly. Can you get back in there, Adam? Sorry, everybody. So we are here going to be talking about how. Oh, there we go. Adam, you're back.
Yeah. Sorry.
Okay, we're good to go.
Now I'm ready. Let's go.
No worries. We are trying to figure this all out because we're trying to make the most of social media and integrate with Clubhouse. So thank you, everybody, for your patience. We're going live on multiple platforms here and recording for a podcast as well. So thanks for your patience. But yeah, we're going to get into it. So Adam, you were just asking me about triathlon, and that is definitely a big part of my life. Like since 2017, I've used sort of racing as a way to talk about veganism in a way that I'm not scaring people away. I figured, if I can just, show up at races and do well, that, and wearing, whenever I race, I've always got the word vegan on my clothing, just so that everybody knows. And that's because I'm trying to break a stereotype, right? There's this huge stereotype that you need meat and animal products to be strong. So I figure if I can rock up to a race, do really well, and people see my shirt or whatever, and they start some conversations with me, that creates a really good opportunity to then have those kinds of conversations where I'm not necessarily going out and bringing it up to people, but if people see me at a race and they're like, oh, there's an athlete, he's got a vegan shirt on, I'm going to go have a conversation. Like that happens so often. And I think that's an important part of having these conversations that go well, is like, what context are we having these conversations under? So I think that's really how I see triathlon racing. I mean, if I wasn't doing sort of vegan advocacy and I didn't feel like I had sort of an important message to spread through my athlete, like I don't know if I would be racing per se. I think I'd probably still be training, but I probably wouldn't put as much effort as I do into like showing up to races as often as I can. So that's really where that motivation for triathlon comes from for me.
That's awesome. And how would you say the reactions are from people? It's, I mean, us as vegans and plant-based people who've been in this world for a long time, we can get a little bit inside of our bubble. So people who are still in the mindset of that you need to eat meat and cheese and dairy and eggs to be an athlete and to perform at your best, how are people generally responding to that vegan shirt that you're wearing?
Right. Yeah. There's definitely some mixed responses, and there's a lot of people who are just genuinely really curious because as you say, there's so many misunderstandings that people have. And I think that it just comes down to education and sort of, I guess, miseducation that's gone on over the years, and just trying to, debunk that step by step. I mean, people are generally, though, I would say these days more receptive than in the past. I mean, we've had a lot of help, with especially the Game Changers documentary, just to say, like, got to give credit to that film, because that film has had a very real impact on a lot of people, specifically, these kind of people like me, or people who are athletes, and they're trying to get the best performance, and they've been sort of brainwashed to think that we need these animal products when we really don't. And in fact, there hasn't been a lot of science done so far on plant-based athletes, but the science that has been done so far, it's looking really good. And it's sort of, there's some interesting potential to sort of highlight some performance gains that can be made from plant-based eating. And there's a lot of athletes talking about these things. There's more science that needs to be done to verify a lot of these claims. But yeah, there are definitely, people are sort of aware of the plant-based benefits of in terms of athletic performance to a certain extent because of that film. So like when people are coming up to me out at races or whatever, a lot of them are saying, I saw the Game Changers and I was thinking about going plant-based, but then it's often, and then I had this problem, right? Like a lot of people have the same problem, which is really just not eating enough when they try to go plant-based, and it has to do with the calorie density in the food. You need to make sure that you're eating enough to get your calories met. So that's one problem people run into, and people get tripped up. They think it's protein. They think it's, this or that or the other. And really the number one thing they got to look at is just make sure your energy needs are getting met. It's really, really simple. And so, yeah, that's sort of, how those conversations go down is usually it's people have heard of it, they're interested, but maybe they're struggling. So that's really a great opportunity for me to have a conversation with someone who wants to learn. And so again, it comes back to what's the context for having these conversations? How do we talk about veganism without scaring people away? It's really nice if people come to you to have the conversation, right? I mean, if we're running around after people who don't want to talk about it, that's a surefire way to scare people away. So that's sort of how a lot of those conversations tend to go down. It's really great to do, like when I have that opportunity to speak at a race or to somebody who's curious. That's always the best case scenario. Somebody's coming to me to speak about it.
So you would say that in those situations you have that.
Can you just unmute yourself here on Clubhouse?
I'm unmuted on Clubhouse, right? Am I still muted there?
Oh, Adam, I think we can't hear you on Clubhouse right now. So if you could just unmute yourself there.
Can you hear me now?
Sorry, everybody. I'll take a quick moment here. Just going to reset the room while Adam's getting his mic unmuted on Clubhouse here. We are talking about how to talk about veganism without scaring people away. And we are in the Plant-Based Food and Wellness Club here on Clubhouse. So if you are enjoying this chat and you might be interested in other talks on this kind of topic, then please, at the top of the room here, you can just hit that greenhouse and follow the club. Lots of great rooms going on here. So yeah, today we're talking about how to talk about veganism without scaring people away. This is definitely a topic that is a popular one amongst passionate vegans who, a lot of us, we want to get this message out there, and it can feel frustrating sometimes trying to talk to people and get it out there. So we're going to be, Adam and I are going to be just having a bit of a chat here for a few more minutes, and then we're going to open it up to people. For all of you, I'd love to hear all of your contributions to the conversation and any questions you guys might have. So Adam, how's it going over there? Are you having any luck? Let me see. I can put you on my computer.
So I thank everybody for everyone's patience. I don't know if you heard Jason there. It seems on my side that you're muted, and you're saying I'm muted. So I'm not quite sure what the situation is here. Are you sure you're not muted on Clubhouse, Jason?
I think so. I can see myself talking. Let me bring up. Maybe let me try to bring somebody up and we can get some feedback. So you, on your end, it says you're not muted.
Yeah.
Okay, let me see here if I can.
I'll show you here. So weird. So we might have a.
That's crazy. Okay, so Sean, thank you. Sean, can you tell us what's going on here? Can you hear us or what?
Sean's muted as well.
Okay, so Adam, I think we decided it was. I think it's you, Adam.
Oh, maybe I'll have to restart Clubhouse then.
Yeah, but you know what? I've got you. I can hear you through the computer, so we can hear you on Clubhouse, so we can continue because I've got you on my computer speaker, so we got you.
My Clubhouse here, so I'll get into Clubhouse through your computer then. Awesome. Okay, so we're good.
We're good.
Awesome. Okay, so as I was saying, in that case you would be you're in a position of authority when people come to you as an athlete. You're a champion. People see that you are succeeding. You're not coming from. Would you say that it's an authority place?
Yeah, that's right. It's sort of someone. I mean, I think I can speak to it because I've been plant-based since 2009. It's interesting because I wasn't an athlete really when I started. I mean, I played a bit of hockey growing up, but really I went plant-based and I started to feel so much better. And that is what sort of led to me getting into the athletic side of things. But that was only after sort of navigating some rocky terrain. I mean, I struggled with, going going vegan, just as many people do. And so I've gone through a lot of the sort of, issues that people run into, and I've seen, patterns, and just having like literally thousands of conversations with people over the years, and just trying to sort of troubleshoot what's giving them difficulty, and seeing if I can, boil it down to some helpful advice. So yeah, that's really, I think, what's helpful is, being able to speak from a place of experience. And then what's nice about having, the racing that I do is that I have these kind of objective results. Like, sometimes it feels like I don't want to feel like I'm bragging. Like not trying to brag about my race results or whatever, but at the same time, it's just an objective result to say, like, look, I've been doing this for like quite a long time, and I'm performing really well as an athlete. There's obviously, there's something here. And I really feel like there's, I don't think I'm that talented as an athlete. I've really surprised myself over the last few years in terms of the results I've been able to get. So I definitely chalk that up in a big way to the plant-based diet.
Wow. And we probably don't have time to go into the deeper meanings of why you are an athlete and what's motivating you, but you can definitely say, just by this as an example, that there's a lot to be gained from people willing to be their best selves and excel and go beyond and reach their goals, to be that inspiration to others. Because I think that's a huge part of it. Just as you mentioned, the game changers, looking at people who are successful and wondering, wow, how are they doing it, and finding out that you can do it with a vegan diet or plant-based diet is enough for a lot of people. But then to see people crushing goals and winning and stuff like that, that's also powerful. But talk to me about the other part, like when you're into, so I guess that's related when you're talking to high school young people about veganism and misconceptions there. I guess you could definitely be an authority, being the person standing in front of people, but maybe a little different feel. Or tell me about it. How is it like talking to them?
Yeah, I think, talking to like the people who are in high school that I'm mostly speaking to, they are people who are looking at getting into, what kind of work are they going to go into? They're coming to that point where they're coming to the end of, high school, and they start to think about what are they going to do with their life? Like, what are they going to go to college? Are they going to go to university? Are they going to take a gap year if they can do that? Are they going to go, straight into the workforce? And really what I'm speaking to them about is just to give them sort of a well-rounded view of what's happening with plant-based food, and what are the opportunities, that are presented in sort of these different sectors. Like, I speak to students who might be going into the health and wellness sector. They might be going in, they might be entrepreneurs, might be, interested in business. They could be athletes, looking to, become professional athletes, or go on to race at a collegiate level or whatever. And really what I'm trying to do is to, bring the experience that I've had to them, and help them just gain, because there's so much, as we said, there's a lot of misunderstanding around plant-based eating, and, there's myths and rumors, and, there's false information that gets thrown around all the time. And there's so much misunderstanding that really what I'm trying to do is I'm just saying, hey, let's take a clear lens, look at what's going on here in this space, and try to highlight some of the opportunities that young people have to really change the world in a profound way. So that's what gets me really fired up, because I feel like kids who are that age, they're getting to the end of high school. They're really starting to take on their own, they're making more of their own decisions. I feel like that's a really great time to sort of, speak to these people. And the reception has been like incredible. Like, there's been such great response, like, to the programs that I offer. And it's really been, there's been very little resistance compared to speaking to a lot of different demographics in terms of, like I said, a lot of people, when you speak about veganism, I'm sure people in here can relate that it's, people tend to want to push back. They tend to try to find those reasons that they can't make changes, or that will never change, and the world will never change, and it's always going to be like this. But I think when you're, these kids are maybe 17, 16, 18 years old, like, they are the how do I put it? I want to say like their souls are not crushed yet. You know, there's still hope for the world.
I know what you mean. There's still that blank sheet a little bit.
Yeah. Let's put it that way. It's still a blank sheet. There's still, you know, a lot of opportunity for, you know, exploring possibilities. And I think that's really, really needed because it can seem like quite the dire situation we're in. And so I think
their worldview isn't set yet. They're open to to forming their own worldview.
That's right.
In a greater extent than a fully adult people, generally speaking, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
Awesome. So how much of that is ethics? Because ethics is always that big red flag that can really stir things up and to really shift the energy of a conversation. When you're talking about climate, people are on board. Health, people are on board. Ethics, now that's something other thing here. So how much is that going into the talks with young people in this case?
Yeah, great point. I think I'm very mindful. I mean, I used to take more of an approach where I would focus a lot more on the animal ethics, and I still speak about that. I definitely still speak about that. But what I have found, for better or for worse, is what you said. You know, people do. There's more resistance when I take that route from the get-go. I think it's really important to incorporate that message. Now, when the best time to incorporate that message is, I think it really depends on who you're talking to. When I'm talking to, like, you know, large groups of people, I tend to steer towards, you know, talking about, you know, like just factually what's happening, like what are the objective changes we've seen in the market, some of the products that are coming out, shifts in consumer behavior, go into, you know, data just in terms of health, in terms of the environment, and sort of, you know, slowly chipping away at the layers, and trying to, you know, introduce things in a way that is, I think a lot of it comes down to people will say often, you know, no one likes to be judged. No one likes to feel like they're being judged. And vegans often get, you know, this reputation of being super judgy, you know, I'm using air quotes here, but yeah, that's like, and that is, I think often that has more to do with the person who's listening, and they're maybe uncomfortable with some of the things that are getting brought up by the person who's vegan, but that doesn't change for us as people who are trying to advocate for veganism. That doesn't change what their reaction is likely to be. So for that reason, it's sort of a tactical approach that I take to sort of, you know, slowly. I don't want people to feel like I'm judging. I really try to present the information in a way that's like, I'm not here to like dump my opinions and my beliefs on you. What I'm here to do is to share my experience with you, point you in the direction of some research, some science, you know, some like legitimate sources that you can use to reference and get an understanding of this. So that's really the approach that I try to take, rather than, because we have to be conscious of people. They're going to feel judged. They're going to feel uncomfortable in conversations around veganism. We just have to acknowledge that if we want to be as effective as we can, in my opinion, in my humble opinion. And I would love to hear what other people have to say. We're going to probably open up in just a minute here to everyone else in the room. But yeah, that's what I have found over the years, is to sort of, you know, you have to, on an individual basis, it's important to get a sense of what's important to that person when I'm talking to them one-on-one, really, you know, dissect what makes them tick, what are their motivations, and how can I connect that to plant-based eating and veganism. But when I'm speaking to a larger group of people, like a classroom full of students, or people of any age, really, I think it's important to, take that systematic evidence-based approach and try to just be really conscious of not coming off as being judgmental.
And it's interesting too, because you have that clear starting point, because you are an athlete, and still in 2021, an elite athlete that's vegan is something that's exotical and worthy of podcast subjects. But I mean, people are curious. Can you still, as we said, so you have a great way of starting, just saying, I am a vegan triathlete champion. That brings a lot of questions instantly. And you have a great way in. You can talk about that. You can talk about climate. You can ease them into the ethical parts that are an essential part of this. And it's really something most people would like to know, I would say, being that my my philosophy is that everyone has their inner vegan that's yearning to come out. I mean, no one wants to support that, but as you said, when do you introduce that? How tactical are you? How strategic are you on? I mean, I think that's really fascinating. Shortly before we bring some people up here to ask questions, we have to mention you have a really successful run at TikTok with over 200,000 people following you, and that's a great opportunity to have an impact on the world in whatever it is you're doing and what message you're sharing. Tell us a little bit about when you started, how the journey been, and what you think is the reason why you're so successful there.
Yeah, I think when it comes to TikTok and talking about veganism in a way that's not gonna scare people away. The nice thing about social media, like I've got a bit of a different persona, and if you watch any of my TikTok videos, I try a lot of different things and sort of experiment and have some fun and do some silly stuff. And I think that with social media, that's a place really where for me I can test things out. I can try ideas. I can be creative. And on TikTok, you can get a little bit silly and whatever. So I've learned a lot on TikTok, and I've found that if people don't like my social media content, if they don't like a video, if it doesn't vibe with them, they can just scroll away. And the algorithm and how people respond to the content, it will speak for itself. I think that I've learned a lot from. I got to give a shout out to Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure people in here, follow him, so him. And he's just the way he talks about content creation. He got that got me to sign up for TikTok back in November 2020, and just really experiment. Wow. Let people test. Let people be the judge of what's going to be effective and not. And I had a few videos that have definitely popped and gone viral. I speak a little bit of Thai, so it's been there's been a few videos where I've spoken a bit of Thai, and the population there, they thought that was kind of funny to see this foreign person speaking Thai. They appreciate that, learning the language, and just trying to create a bit of entertaining content for the Thai people, and just sneak in the vegan message in there when I can. So it's been really interesting, and TikTok is definitely something I would recommend anybody experiment with. Obviously now Clubhouse is like the next new app, and I'm trying to do what I can on here to just bring value and create community and all that good stuff. So but yeah, TikTok is really just it's been a great learning process for me, and you never know what reaction you're going to get, and I've definitely been pleasantly surprised to see the kind of reach that you can get on that platform. So I would just say, to anybody who's been thinking about it, it's definitely not too late, and it can be a lot of fun. It can actually be way too much fun. Oh my, like that app is so addictive. I'm sure I don't need to tell half people in here, but yeah, that's another great app. So yeah, TikTok is a great opportunity to maybe start some of those conversations.
Awesome. And great lessons learned there. You probably weren't 100% comfortable going into that. People never are. No. You're putting yourself on the line, but you're doing it. You're risking it, or I mean, you're going for it, and that's really cool. And trying it out and getting that much impact. It's good to be early on platforms for people who wants to have a big impact and share their message. All right, so I think that will do it for the formal interview here. So I am thinking out loud right now if I should stop the recording here and when people come up, or if they are comfortable with sharing their questions. I don't know if it's going to end up in this recording though.
Yeah, I put the red dot in the room, but you know what? I think it's because I maybe should have made that a bit more clear. If we could stop the recording, or you can
stop the recording here and continue solely on Clubhouse. So thank you for everyone who's watched and listened to this live, and thank you, Jason.
Thank you, Adam.